Oh, climate activists threw orange cornstarch on Stonehenge. And people are freaking out. So let's discuss this. Let's debate this, as there always tends to be a debate around these sorts of actions. First, I want to show you the video here. Just Stop Oil is the group behind this. They tweeted out, breaking, Just Stop Oil spray Stonehenge orange. 2 people took action the day before summer solstice, demanding the incoming government sign up to a legally binding treaty to phase out fossil fuels by 2030. And then they send a link that I will get to in a second, because it helps to prove that this worked. But here is the video. So, just to be clear here, this is washable apparently. It will apparently wash off in the rain. It's not permanently orange. Even if it was real paint, I'm guessing you could power wash it. Regardless, everything's fine. Don't worry. It's all okay. I find it funny here that this one person is freaking out. I assume they work there. And then no one else really appears to care too much. Like this other lady just casually walks over, grabs the container, walks away. No harm. It's all good. Now, as they write here, corn flour will wash away. So they did this to raise money, and it has apparently clearly worked. They've almost hit their goal already. It's been, 12 hours at this point since this happened. So they're escalating their campaign over the summer, they're saying, and they want to do they want to take some more action, and they need support to fund trainings, rent safe houses, and prepare people for action. So they are successful in this attempt to raise money. Now, people argue against this, saying, "Oh, people are not gonna join your cause now. They're gonna care less about the climate crisis because you threw cornstarch on the Stonehenge." My argument to that is just that the people are already aware of the seriousness of the crisis. You look at polling, people are aware that more needs to be done to address the climate crisis. The issue isn't public support. The issue is political will. So the issue is money and politics. Ultimately, the issue is that those with power tend to be fossil fuel companies. So there is always going to be that opposition from politics. The opposition is not from the public. The public largely is on the side of these people. And if you're going to all of a sudden not care about the climate crisis because of a couple of activists, then you're the problem, not the activists. Now, look, I will say that to be fair, look, I get the initial reaction, right? I totally understand why people, upon first glance, are bothered by actions like this, or throwing paint on a piece of art, or a painting that happened, I think, a year ago, though it was covered in glass, so it was easily wiped off, and then the frame was maybe damaged a little bit. But I get why people have that reaction, but that's kind of the point, right? Like if these protests don't get your attention, then they're not going to work. So, and especially when it comes to the point of this one is to simply raise money. That is clearly the goal here, and that's what they have accomplished. Also find it hilarious. Climate change threatens iconic sites worldwide, including Stonehenge. So this is from the UN. This may be part of the reason why they decided to target Stonehenge here. But here, so the study lists 31 natural and cultural World Heritage sites in 29 countries that are vulnerable to increasing temperatures, melting glaciers, rising seas, intensifying weather events, worsening droughts, and longer wildfire seasons. So this was a report from both the UN Environment Program and the Scientific and Cultural the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which are the ones that oversee these heritage sites. So this is if you're worried about Stonehenge, this is the reason to be worried about it. not washable cornstarch. Now, I just saw this tweet. I felt it was worth sharing. Ames, I'm going to say here, or Amelia, says, as an archaeologist and a supporter of Just Stop Oil, I think this action at Stonehenge was incredibly well done. It's cornstarch that will wash off in the rain, and it's captured the attention of tens of thousands of people online. So much respect. Now, Keir Starmer, Labour leader Keir Starmer, not happy about this. Says, the damage done to Stonehenge is outrageous. Just Stop Oil are pathetic. Those responsible must face the full force of the law. The level of fervor here over a couple of rocks, I find to be ridiculous. Not like, especially when you apply it to various realities around the UK government, like the fact that the Stonehenge tunnel is approved by government, which is a project that could see Stonehenge stripped of its World Heritage Site status. Keir Starmer ain't speaking out against this. Also, John Smith here with a great point. Christ, you're going to go ballistic when you see what Netanyahu is doing to Gaza. Again, this ongoing, as you know, just as Canada has, as the U.S. has, this unwillingness to criticize the right-wing Israeli government for the obvious mass atrocities that they are committing. Or if they criticize them, it's very light, and there's no real teeth behind any of those criticisms. It's wild to have this sort of anger, again, over a couple of rocks or stones, and not have, at the very least, matching that anger when it comes to actual human life. Also, great little meme here from Saul. Interesting what's considered outrageous and what's not. So, spraying cornstarch paint on Stonehenge that washes off in the rain. 2-child benefit cap that forces 250,000 children to grow up in poverty. So I looked into this. This is a greater issue right now during this election in the UK. Starmer faces further calls for Labour to axe 2-child benefit cap. So the policy, which was introduced by George Osborne when he was Chancellor, means low-income parents are denied key benefits, including universal credit, for their third and any subsequent children born from April 2017. Research by the Institute for Fiscal Studies finds that when fully rolled out, the policy will affect 1 in 5 children, costing families an average of £4,300 a year or 10% of their income. Among the poorest fifth of households, 38% will be affected. This is something that Keir Starmer apparently in their manifesto have not addressed. Again, to have more anger over Stonehenge and not children in poverty is, I want to say bizarre, but it's sort of it's completely in line with neoliberalism. Funny reply here. So, Eval Politics says it's cornstarch paint, it'll wash off in the rain. Rosie here says it was an act of hate against a sacred monument. It is a hate crime. And I want to share this because I saw this retweeted on my timeline and I laughed. Stone Cold put this up. That's not what a hate crime is. Well, I hate it a lot, okay? Calling cornstarch being thrown on Stonehenge a hate crime is next level insanity. And Matthew Todd here with the ultimate point. Suddenly people are upset about cornstarch thrown over Stonehenge. I don't like it either. Where's their anger over this? And shows various images of the impact of the climate crisis, which again is not met with the same anger that someone like Keir Starmer or other politicians have. They have a lot more anger for Stonehenge or cornstarch on Stonehenge over the actual impact of the climate crisis, which I think also goes to the point that these climate activists were making.